Okay, so we're in the shop here on a Friday, kind of a rainy Friday morning. What a great day to be in the shop and putter on my new little side project here. You'll notice I'd have the air cover off. That's not a big deal at the moment. I just had that off to install the new battery, as I mentioned in the previous video. The other thing I've done here, I don't know, I haven't made it to the auto parts store for the spark plugs and oil change and things like that. So I just got puttering this morning. Decided to take the front fender off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten it in line with what some guys are doing these days on these, I don't know, not so much an urban scrambler, but maybe a tracker type bike. And so if you're familiar with these bikes, you know that the chrome fender probably extends around a quarter to almost a third of the circumference of the tire. I'm going to shorten it up so that the front fender is only going to average about 12 to 13 inches long total. So how did I arrive at a 12 to 13 inch total? You can see here I've already started the project, but I'm just going to walk you through how I arrived at my dimensions. First of all, this is the fender in its original state minus the one end that's been cut off. This would have been the lower rear portion of the fender. This is still the top front of the fender here. So orienting this fender determined that the hole patterns that hold this fender on are near level when on the bike. So by setting it on the tabletop here like this, I was able to establish roughly the orientation of the fender prior to beginning my cutting. Since I was cutting so much of it off, what I ended up doing is on the rear bottom portion of the fender, I just randomly cut off the last probably 5 to 6 inches of this fender. Just a rough square. That's not even square. It's just an attempt to be somewhat straight with a hand angle grinder. The reason for that is so that I could get this radius and use it as a template for my other cuts. So what I did was took the fender off, and I have since, well, you can't see it on the back, so I'll show you on the front. I took this and just simply, when I located roughly an approximate cutoff line, I've now used this piece of the fender as a template for scribing a rough radiused cut mark on the chrome. So I got looking at this and thinking about cutting what appears to be a curved line with a straight disc angle grinder, and without getting into the complexities of 3D geometry, basically what it comes down to with my background as a trim carpenter is it doesn't matter what the profile of material is, as long as you can orient it to where the curved line appears to look straight, you can essentially do, well, what would be on a miter saw, a simple angled cut, a miter. However, looking at the mark that was left on this, there is no orientation where this line appears to be totally straight. So what I did was I got it oriented to approximately where it looks the straightest, and then simply adjusted the line by hand and by eye to where it would be visually straight. So the result is, I did this on this end already, and this is the resulting cut. And you can see that when we orient it right there, looks like a fairly straight cut. How do you confirm it? Well, I confirmed it by taking this and just setting it on the workbench, and you can see that when this is set on the workbench, you can see how it lays down nice and flat. So what I do is, in 3 dimensions, I do have a straight, flat cut, even though the result is what appears to be a compound curve when it comes to cutting it out on the fender. So I'm going to do the same thing on the front, and what we should have then is, instead of having to go buy a fender made by others, is to take an existing original fender and cut it and shape it to what I want. So stick with me, we'll show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, you know what? I don't know about you, but I think I like it. Now granted, it's not sitting exactly oriented with the tire because I've just put the 4 screws in. They're not even tight, they're just threaded into the hole just to hold it in place. So taking away from any minor comments related to fine-tuning the way it's installed, I like it. I like the size, I like the shape. And truth be known, I probably will end up painting it. We'll just have to let that be a decision for another day, because you know what? I like it. Big improvement already. And it really cleans up the look of the front tire, front wheel, because all those angle brackets and everything are now gone. Okay, stick with me.